They will give you always the best rate.
They connect to Binance, HitBTC, LMAX, and Kraken.
What I like about SwissBorg is that they have an amazing app.
Pow wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Pile number 49. Super excited to be with you guys today. As always, we're going to dive into the love of the community. And by the way, thank you for this beautiful meme. Then talk about what's happening on the markets. We saw a sudden crash on Saturday. Are we going into a bear market? Are we going to crypto winter? We will talk about that. And then always talk about SwissBorg ecosystem as it is flourishing on a daily basis. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazell, the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. And if you want to be part of this community, please make it happen and bring the green eyes, bring the green love, and be part of this wonderful quest that we're all developing. Thank you, Luca096. Question of the week. Do we have some news about the safety net as we all converted to SwissBorg tokens? Yes, the safety net as today has been converted into SwissBorg tokens. We strongly believe that we've been flying to quality and more giving a really best access to the DeFi protocols, which are the most secure ones. But we believe that having, essentially converting this into CHSB is a good way to buy back, and it's a good way to obviously help the SwissBorg ecosystem, and as well as the risk is very lowered compared to what was doing before. We believe that the CHSB remains our beautiful safety net. We have so much people that have joined this week, so I'll just go quickly. Pietro going to be helping a lot. SB Venture for analyzing the best deals, but as well the finance team in general. Philippe, really excited to have him. He's going to be working as a front-end engineer, doing a lot of great stuff within the marketplace. We have Lydia, she's accountant. She'll be helping us to really get to better auditing approach, better a crypto accounting approach, and she's really fancy about crypto, which is great. You'll be hearing about Joseph's wonderful Joseph, be helping to hiring more and more awesome people at SwissBorg. But there's as well Benjamin, probably you have known Ben Dio. He's a really young, fantastic, young, awesome Dio contributor, and he's part of the social media team, which could be really cool. Axel as well, he's been into the Dio for a long time and has been helping us on different quests. Now he's going to be within the community management team. Danny as well, a lovely community manager that's going to be helping us and has been already helping us with crypto cafes and other things with the DO. So great news to have him, Danny. And Philippe, great to have him. He'll be making sure that your accounts are saved at all time, making sure that the KYC and analyst approach gets even better on a daily basis, not only more fast, but more secure, because this is something that's very important at SwissBorg. And if you want to be part of our lovely family, well, there's so many new jobs happening all the time. And you can refer any of these your friends or apply to these jobs and earn up to 3,000 SwissBorg tokens if he gets that job. And if it's a she, I will add an extra 1,000 for that. A lot of, by the way, a lot of people that apply to SwissBorg is coming through referrals. And I really want to thank everyone for, really talking about their friends and talking to how their recruits really believe in our ecosystem and grow as a community. So really thank all you guys that have applied or have pushed your friends to do so. Crypto news of the week. Well, I think so. The first one is all, we'll talk about it right after, but the crypto economy has lost billions in markets as a downturn. On another negative note as well, Berkshire as Charlie Munger praised China for banning crypto, which crypto had never been invented. What an old schmuck, seriously. It's so funny how, I hope we do not become like this, right? Where we're like, oh, but there's no value in this new thing. Value creation is based on a subjective, totally subjective. Whatever you give value to is what community, what people give value to. If 2,000 years ago was seashells, well, seashells was the thing. If today crypto is a thing, well, that's where it gets value. So it has a lot of value, not only but in decentralization, the technology behind it, the fact that it's done by the community for the community. It's something that's changing nations, kind of Bitcoin city. So much things are going around the world about crypto. But what is fascinating is these old schmuck don't get anything about it. Berkshire, Warren Buffett and his friends think that they're the smartest people. They got to buy Apple in 2017. They own pretty much no stocks. in tech stocks. Sorry, they mainly have oil and old banks. You know, their portfolio has been underperforming for the last 15 years, the S&P, and way back the Nasdaq. So it's interesting to look at finance gurus, but finance gurus from their time. When you get a bit too old or just not courageous enough to make the leap and to be curious, this is when you should change friends or change gurus. Nevertheless, big respect to these old men. Crypto exchange Bitmart hacked. Yeah, it sucks. 196 million. Why? Because they don't have MPC and they've been recruiting the wrong people. This is an internal hack that has happened with private keys not being given to the right people. And that's why we've been always recruiting not only the best people, but recruiting and implementing the best technology to make sure that your assets are protected at all time. On another note, we saw that Celsius has lost 50 million. The good news of that is that they're finally doing DeFi, so good luck for that. The bad news is that DeFi has a huge amount of risk. And when you're paying a lot, you know, Bitcoin and Ether, well, unfortunately, taking risks. And when you're taking those risks, you will lose. You will have permanent losses. That's why DeFi is offering high rates. So people, I know you're always concerned about the rates and how they could get higher. We will always bring them higher, but we don't want to lose your assets. We don't want to get hacked, and that's the reason. Last but not least, crypto investors seeing looming NFT bubble, but to saying power of the underlying tech. What's your stock on NFTs? I mean, there's definitely a bubble in it. Right now, there's 2 billion that are invested into NFTs every month. Many of these NFTs, will be subjectively priced and maybe mispriced and maybe underpriced or overpriced. Um, what I think so is fascinating. We're seeing so much people coming into crypto thanks to NFTs and these new industries and these new, you know, sports, these new musics, artists, and there's so much great things that's happening. So I really believe that NFT is something great. If you're asking me personally, I believe like cross the ages. It's a fantastic. Check it out. It's a project that SwissBorg is heavily invested and is going to really be supporting it, and you'll hear more about it. But this is like the games that really bring value with these collectibles and how these collectibles you can mint them and how you could play and get a strategy. You know, like Engine. We always talked about Engine. Tenjin has been one of the the best performing token this year. And the reason is that because there's real usage of NFTs. And I think so that's the beauty and that's what really has to be used. Not collectibles is a nice thing. Because if you could use those NFTs in multiple ways, it's going to be interesting. And I had the talk last week with Christoph, our CCO, and Jeremy, and Anthony. What anyway? Long story short, we were many together, and I was saying like, imagine what's going to happen like in I don't know like 30 years or 40 years, and your grandchildren are going to be like checking out your like wallet and NFTs and well, for those who are going to be on SwissBorg, it's going to be easy, right? But if you have like an on your MetaMask and you have this like 721 NFT token, right? That's going to be what's going to be great, and you're going to be willing to use it. But what's going to happen? What if your grandchildren like find it out like this cool NFT and be like, oh, but how do you convert that from Ethereum 1.0 to whatever new protocol? And how do you start, using bridges? Does this bridge really work or not? It's a little bit like gonna be like today when when we were kids, we were getting filmed with these, VHS cassettes, and today we're trying to rip them and bring them on our smartphones, right? Or on whatever, in DVX or whatever format. And it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play. But nevertheless, long story short, NFT is here to stay, and it's great that mainstream is coming to blockchain, and this will bring, yeah, mass adoption. So, what is happening on the markets? Bloody Friday night or Saturday morning? Like always, by the way, it's always really weird. People tanking the markets with playing with futures. You saw a lot of futures, as you could see, growing onto Binance, but as well all different other markets, which is great. And but it's not so great when people are shorting the market when people are sleeping. I don't like to be waking up when and seeing like markets are tumbling 10-15%. What does that mean? multiple things. It means right now, which is good, is that if you look at the crypto fear and greed index, we're at the lowest, one of the lowest point at the fear index. So general, this shows that it's great time to accumulate. If you're asking me, did I buy some Bitcoins? I did buy some Bitcoins on Saturday morning when I woke up. Um, what does that mean more on the longer period is that, we're going to be flirting around with probably 50,000, right? We're going to probably trying to see outcome, but with Christmas coming on, I still have a bullish perspective. I still believe that, to be honest, people like to have a good Christmas, and there's a seasonality of December, which is from the stock markets, from old times, that December usually is a positive month. So I'm still quite bullish about how Bitcoin's going to behave. On another note, which is extremely interesting, is to see how Ethereum is playing its own thing. It's one of the first time that Bitcoin has dropped more than Ethereum itself. So this probably sees that next year, if Ethereum 2.0 is coming up, and the adoption of NFTs, the adoption of a lot of different DeFi projects, and just adoption of more institutional market coming in, we might see that, Ethereum's going to be a big contender, big player. And right now, as you can see, the amount of volume is very high. It's half as big as Bitcoin. So there is definitely a big adoption on the institutional side. And what we're seeing as well, which is extremely interesting, is that there's more and more assets that are being deposited into the contract of Ethereum 2.0. So that shows that people are here to stake. People are very confident by staking that, and do believe that this will actually bring a lot of value into the blockchain ecosystem. So I think this is something really to look into very carefully and see that most probably Ethereum will be outperforming Bitcoin in the upcoming weeks. What's happening to our lovely CHSB? Well, has been outperforming the main market. Obviously, not lucky enough, we're still in that 60 cents to 90 cents. That's mainly the bands that we're playing out. Um, Not outperforming the market. That's one thing, but we're not being performing extremely well because it's a bear market. It's very hard to do that. Um, what could we others say is that obviously the the sentiments of SwissBorg is not only much better, but I think the fundamentals of the CHSB are much better thanks to the yield 2.0, right? People not seeing this, but we'll talk about it a little bit later, but how people are accumulating more and more yield because they're attractive yields to it. And obviously on-chain data, talking about there's been cumulative burns, over 6 million, which that is great. And over time, we're now over 100,000 people that has been accumulating CHSB within the app. KNC, I think so. This is something that is very interesting to see. It's how to have interoperability between different liquidity providers, right? On DeFi, essentially, mainly decentralized exchanges. And so it's something that is really important because liquidity obviously is something important. But if you were able to bridge liquidity across different platforms such as SushiSwap, such as Uniswap, and other ones, this could really be something that be really used. That's what we really liked about KNC, and that's why we have listed it. However, it's been really more concentrated on Ethereum, and hopefully it'll be bringing more in layer two. If it doesn't bring more layer two, I believe that KNC unfortunately is not going to be really good at what they're doing. But so far, it's been one of the early stage projects that really has been enabling a lot of DeFi protocols to just bring a better user experience, more liquidity, and that's why we believe this is a great token. Okay, Main Street campaign. You guys have said a lot of times, and I love that when people are challenging us, by the way. Just make this very clear. I know a lot of, by the way, people, watching this powwow right now, a lot of people are massively fans, right? People love it. And some of you reading your comments are big fans, and I think so have a lot of love, but have been, have mixed feelings and not that I'm masochist or whatever, right? I don't want people to scream at us and say always how they're disappointed. But I think so if you build uh, criticism and challenge us in a smart way, I think so it's great. And I think so you've seen that we're really doing a mainstream campaign in Switzerland. It's going to be pretty much across Switzerland. You're going to see it in newspapers. You're going to see it in the airport. And it's really concentrated yet on the Swiss Romand side, so the French part. But we'll be doing a lot of doing things in Swiss German part in the next, I would say, quarter. And I think so that is really good. And I think so it is, there's multiple reasons. The first one is for, I would say, we're doing it to really bring not only our SwissBorg community to be proud, but for awareness, right? I think so that's something that's really important, is that awareness is important, right? If people say like, hey, download the SwissBorg app, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it. And then you're in the airport and you're like, oh, well, you know what, I have some time, check it out actually, and you see it, right? So this awareness is very important, where people that we've seen recently that have downloaded the app, and they went in the bus or in the train, and they're like, reading les 20 minutes, and they're saying like, oh, I registered there, but I don't think I did anything. So they check it out again, and it's like, oh, now I should deposit. So it has this awareness. It's not maybe the most best one for activation per, but it's very good for awareness. It's very good as well for activation, to remember people that to deposit and start trading, or it's for a retention tool to make you guys happy, to make me happy, and make us proud. And I think so this is really, really cool. So I hope you like the fact that we're doing this. And as I said, we'll be growing more and more into the space and have some off-chain things. And then going forward, we can maybe think about like a treasure hunts with NFTs behind it, and a lot of different cool things. As always, we have a lot of creativity in our brains here, and a lot of love in our heart. SwissBorg Venture. This is something that I really appreciate. That's my dear brother Alex that's in charge here, and Richard and other people, and we're growing the team. And SwissBorg Venture right now, is really a great place, a great platform to incubate, not to incubate, but to invest into the best projects. Sorry. And I think so. This is important. We're doing it because we want to be great investors, partners, and as well friends with different projects. And we recently came up to something that is really new, and it's for you guys, the Genesis Premium guys. This is really funny. Uh, the idea is really to bring Swissborg Venture and to enable this platform to offer this as an investment, right? And recently we have signed really two good investment deals that are really, really good, and that are going to be able to be accessible through our Genesis Premium. And to be eligible for that, well, obviously you have to be a GP. Number two is that you not have liquidated more than 10% of your CHSB in the past 3 months. So if you had like, let's say, I don't know, 200,000 CHSB, and you have sold, let's say, over, I don't know, over 60,000, no, sorry, 40,000, 220,000, sorry, in the last 3 months, then you're not eligible. The top, the participation will be as well limited to the top 100 to 150 of the users, and who had made that criteria. So again, this is not the best scalable solution yet, but we really want to favor those that have been very loyal and that have a huge stake with Swissborg, right? People say, oh, but this is unfair, but it's very much like a Tesla model, right? You want to first, look at a prototype car and have maybe, 10,000 cars. Then you want to have a second car, luxury car that is going for 100,000 maybe people. Then you want to have a little bit less luxury car, and maybe you want to give it to 300,000 people. Then you want to start to do a public car that's much cheaper and much more affordable to a million users, and then you want to essentially give this to everyone. Here's exactly the same approach. So to frame it again is that you need a minimum of 100,000 CHSB. You need to be a Genesis Premium. And in the last 3 months, you have to have essentially not have sold more than 10% of your CHSB, really show that stickiness, that loyalty as well. And last but not least, it will be probably limited to the top 100, 150 token holders that we have. So I hope that you guys qualify for this. And if it happens that you have sold more than 10% of your CHSB in the last 3 months, that doesn't mean that the next round you won't be eligible, right? If you stop selling now, well, essentially you'll be loyal. You get that loyalty reward, and that loyalty reward will enable you to qualify and to get into these different deals. So why are we doing this? Well, it's to bring a new utility and to strengthen the CHSB token, right? We've seen that a lot of people are have been dumping the token and buying it back, and trading is good, I think so. But overall, you want to net your position and have as much as CHSB as possible. So that gives a lot of chance of less dumping the CHSB, a higher satisfaction for you guys, because I know each time Genesis Premium, you're like, Cyrus, we need more utilities, or we need better this and that. So I think this is something that's really cool. What is quite crazy here is that this is the valuation that we get is at the lowest. It's at pre-seed, the seed, and strategic. It's really usually what happens, and then you get into public, launch pads, right? We are at pre-seed, so it's literally at the first stage. You can't get better, and I think so. The early stage, provides obviously lower valuation, higher upside, and I think this is something very interesting. However, I want to make this very clear. All these projects that we are really cherry picking, it's not just to do 100x or 50x or 30x or 20x or 10x, whatever it is. It's really to provide this ecosystem to grow. We want all the guys that we bring to SwissBorg Venture to be our friends and our partners. We want to bring them into the Wealth app. We want them to really start to work with us, and with maybe Genesis premiums or with community premiums, start to build things together, build leagues, and really try to work together. Is it the case for every project we're going to bring? Yeah, I hope so. Like we talked about OCAM 2 weeks ago. Do we know exactly how we're going to be working with them? Well, there's co-investments that we're doing. There's co-investment is already one fun thing. We're trying to figure out how we could maybe lower down for Genesis Premium users, way how people could operate into OCAM as well. So there are different things. It's just it takes time to find the right combination, and each time the formula, it could be similar, but it does change, right? So again, I think so. What here is really strategic. It's to SwissBorg Venture to get to find the best deals in this market, grow those pipeline, make sure that our Genesis Premium guys get rewarded and be able to get into these really strategic pre-seed allocations. Hopefully for them, they'll be able to profit from a very nice investment experience, and more importantly, believe and build the blockchain ecosystem, which I think so it's really, really cool. And this is something that I hope that you're very excited about it. Please comment here and share your thoughts. Looking forward to read them. Chart of the week, SwissBorg app. Number of users making exchanges, 80,000 since November. I think so. That's a lot. That's a great number. Exchange types was mainly fiat to crypto. I mean, sorry, it's 30% fiat to crypto, crypto to fiat. That's 50%. And then there's actually a lot of crypto to crypto, so 50%. So we have the fiat 50 and 50, which is nice to see. Total traded by the end of 2021, it is actually $9 billion. That is a huge number. So congrats to all you guys. And I think so. This is what is fantastic, and how building robust technology is the efficiency of the smart engine. Almost 100%. Three times fewer failed than exchange than February, between February and March. I think so. This really shows again, like, how does Swissborg being able to operate? I think so. This is a very, very high score. It's higher than anyone else pretty much. And it really shows again what has really been done. In terms of volume, obviously May was the crazy volume, right? Was happening, but if not, it's being constant, right, at a 700 million since the beginning of the year, which I think is really, really good. And obviously, summertime people are enjoying the beach and relaxing, so it's a little bit less. Weekly CHSB data, a little bit less than 500 premium. Hopefully, we get to more than 500 next week. CHSB stake pretty much the same, though, which is very exciting here. CHSB yield program now is 52%. So that means we have literally 77% of the total value of CHSB locked. That is insane. That is really showing scarcity, and will bring in obviously something that will create a great performance. Even though it's -6 compared to the market, has done extremely well compared to the rest. Protect and burn has just been growing, which is great. 1.6 million. and we have 120,000 CHSB holders in our beautiful app. Which brings us to the community index. The DEX is it 8.5, and it's 8.7. So we're pretty much high in everything besides social media. So please comment, like, share this YouTube video. But pretty much really good. I hope you guys enjoy as well. Crypto Challenge is really cool to have those 2 forecasts a day. A lot of more people that are active, more retention there. So congrats for you guys scoring well. I'm still not doing too well, unfortunately. I mean, I'm doing well. It's just that I forget to forecast as much. But my forecasted accuracy is always good. It's just that I'm not forecasting enough. Tomorrow night is Roxana. Really actually interesting to see what Roxana is about to say. I really would like to enjoy the fact that Token 2049 has been probably the crypto night which has the most amount of women, more than 50%, I think so, of these interviews have been done by women. So congratulations, Alex, and as well entire team, Liam and others for doing this. I think so, and Clarice for doing this. So it really shows that again, we at the Green Heart, we pass it on to everyone at SwissBorg. As you guys know, this powwow is for you, is for me. So please comment, like, follow us on in different social media. Love the Twitter. As you guys, I'm engaging more and more on Twitter. So thank you for this. Hey guys, first apologies for this format. Obviously, this is too much light here. The micro is not the right micro. Is that, well, long story short, we went in a shutdown mode for SwissBorg offices around Europe, and therefore I have to do this. And yeah, in the mountains. So not that easy. Nevertheless, always here with my Green Heart, here to share. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think so. This new utilities for the CHSB token is going to be a really good way to manifest Genesis Premium and how we could grow with the Genesis Premium. There's a lot of momentum happening by the end of the year with SwissBorg as well. You know, we're obviously the roadmap for next year is going to be very, very exciting. We have so much things ongoing, and you know, I wanted to give you some update, but you know what? Let's keep it for later. We're going to probably be listing a lot of tokens in the next 2 weeks too. The theme will be metaverse. So please comment here, see which one you think is going to be listed. Despite that, I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are healthy. Please make sure to, yeah, wear your mask, do your hygiene thing, and hopefully fuck that corona thing. Like always, a great pleasure, guys. So love our CHSB. No, that's not it. Sorry. Be wealthy, be healthy, and love our CHSB. Take care, guys. Bye.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.